All right, TSL, let's get it. Welcome back or welcome to another edition of the Sales Life. And the Sales Life is just not for those in the sales profession. It's for those who are building the life skills of selling, because I want you to be a top producer, not only professionally in life, but also personally in life as well. So to do that, you got to take some of the skills that we learn in the profession and you got to transfer those onto your personal side as well. Your personal development. And those skills, dude, that you can use no matter what kind of job that you're in, no matter what situation you're in. You always got to start. You always got to keep selling. And so those skills are communication, connection, curiosity, creativity, consistency, continuous learning, being coachable, and being able to handle the criticism as well, dude. That's all so important. So I'm so happy that you're back here for another live episode. Be sure and leave your comments below, man. I definitely want to send you a shout out here at the end of the episode. It's going to be a quick one today. And it's not going to be very long at all. Also, if you're watching this on the replay, hit the hashtag TSL. So that way, man, I can show my love. Now, also, this podcast is coming out or is already out on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. I took a brain for there, and then Spotify as well. And we're live across all the platforms as well. We finally got on LinkedIn Live. So we are on there. You'll have to, it can't be on my personal page. It actually has to go on the business page, which is the Sales Life. So just search it up. And that way you can connect with that. So before we rock out with today's episode, I want to give you kind of a productivity thing that works for me. And I call it a 5x5 method. And the 5x5 method is there are many times, man, where you kind of lose track of where you are for the day, what's going on, any sort of wins, and you kind of get overwhelmed, right? You just have some of those days. So the 5x5 method is super quick. And it really kind of recalibrates where you are. So the first part of the 5 is name 5 wins, just 5 wins. And dude, those wins could be anything from, I called my mom, I shot a text message to one of my friends. I actually sold a car today. I got a promotion. I said hello to that person I can't stand at work, whatever the wins are, man. But if you sometimes, dude, when you're just laying there in bed and you're like, I don't feel like getting up. Give me 5 wins. 5 wins that you had today. If you're going to bed at night and you feel like that you're overwhelmed, 5 wins. If you roll those things out, man, I'm telling you, they're going to recenter. Now, the other part of the 5x5, that's the backside of the 5. This is, I use the acronym, and the acronym is MWWRR. So it's 5 wins that I do for myself every single day. So those 5 are, number 1 is meditation. And I take 8 minutes, guys, and do that. When I say meditation, it doesn't mean I levitate across the room. It doesn't mean I hama. It's none of that. What it is it's sitting there in silence, not getting lost in all of the heaviness or the burdens or this is what I got to do. None of the freak out methods, none of that stuff, man. What I'm basically doing is I sit there for 8 minutes, do it for 3. It doesn't matter. And just think about nothing. Now, I like to put on music. So I'll go to YouTube and type in meditation music, just something that way I don't hear all the surrounding noises. So that's the first part. That's number 1. Number 2 is the 2 W's. So that's working out and writing. So I try to work out every single day, bust a sweat every single day, and then write. Now, you can replace the other W with whatever letter that you want to use, but I try to write something every single day. I may not publish it every day, but I do write something every day because one of my values is expressing my creativity every day. That's one of the values. That's one of my fuel burners right there that I have to do every single day. And then you have the final R's, which is reading. Try to read 30 minutes a day. Dude, when I say reading, it could be sometimes on the page. It could sometimes be reading through your ears. And what are you listening to on a podcast? That's reading to me, man. You don't have to read a word. If you don't like reading, that's cool. And then the last one is recording. And recording for me is sometimes what you see right here, but other times, man, the recording is recording my thoughts. And in my notes app, I'll pop it up. I'll have an idea, and people who walk by my office see me sometimes doing this, and I will record my thoughts super quick. It's an idea that, because I can't read my own handwriting, but also I don't have the time to write that down and conceptualize it, but I can riff it off real quick on a recording thought. And I have like 1,400 thoughts in there, and I go back, and sometimes, man, just at the right season, I'll pull that up and be like, boom. Either that's what I need to apply to my life right then and there, or sometimes what it is something that I can actually share with you on the podcast, whatever it is. So that's your 5x5 method. Now, that's not what we're going to talk about today, because this is a super quick episode. So today, man, recently I listened to one podcast I just started subscribing to, was Guy Raz's How I Built This. And recently he had Kenneth Cole on. Yes, Kenneth Cole is a real person. I didn't know that it was either. But in Kenneth Cole, if you don't know, if you're underneath a rock, he's a celebrity shoemaker, I think designer apparel and everything like that. And they really kind of walk through the history of Kenneth Cole, where he started off grassroots, how he went public, and then how he actually bought his company back and went back private. So he's private now. He owns 100%, like Tillman Fertitta, with the Golden Nugget casinos and Landry's, all the Landry's restaurants, I think 700-800 of them. He's the sole owner, private owner of that. So Guy Raz was talking about his early years, his formative years, Kenneth Cole. And Kenneth said, he said, many people ask me when I left my father. See, him and his father kind of they were cool, but his dad wasn't a real bubbly, son, I'm proud of you, blah, blah, blah. Wasn't that kind of guy. He was a New Yorker, just kind of hard-nosed, knuckle up. So they kind of had a contentious relationship. So his dad was a shoemaker, and he decided to leave from underneath his dad's wings and start his own shoe company. Now, he didn't want to compete against his dad. So he wanted to really kind of go a different direction or different style itself. And he said, people often ask me when I left my father, what would you have done had it not worked? And he said, what I didn't tell people is I didn't know what it was. He said, I knew I would figure it out one day, some kind of way. He said, because my it kept changing. And he said, as I was chasing my it, dude, I didn't know what kind of shoes I was going to design. I didn't know who I was going to sell them to or for how much. I didn't know. See, he was crafting the intangible, because the only thing it was not something that he could hold. He couldn't touch it. It wasn't tangible. It was intangible. But he could conceptualize it. He could kind of see it, though it wasn't perfectly clear. Kenneth Cole said, I knew I had a compelling product that people would want. So he kept chasing his it. And think about when you've said it, when you've defined your it. And imagine if Kenneth Cole would have said, this is it. If I don't get to this, the it, then I'm going to do something else. I'm going to scrap it. And imagine how many times that you've said it in your life. I mean, we say it. That's it. That's it. It's over. I'm not doing it. And you drew that line in the sand. And you said, if I get to this it, out of frustration, it's harder than I was expecting. You quit in the it. Kenneth Cole didn't define his it. He kept chasing his it because he wasn't sure what it was. But the it he was chasing was not of less, it was of more. Think about when you define it. Is it more or less? And really, it's kind of this is the straw that broke the camel's back. It better happen or I'm out. I'm gone. And what Kenneth Cole did is, see, he didn't have the resources, but he got resourceful. That's a totally different thing. The resourcefulness is what is readily available. And he did some bold moves, man. The story, you need to go back and listen to it. I'll post it, the link to the podcast. You can go to the Facebook group. I posted it there and check it out. Man, you need to listen to the story and how he did it. A lot of it was bold. A lot of it was brash. A lot of it was like, today you're like, oh my God. And what he would do is he negotiated with a factory manager, and I think they were producing shoes too. And he negotiated with the manager. He said, hey, when your crew leaves, can I come in? So the 6 o'clock shift was walking out, and Kenneth Cole was walking in. And while everybody was home, there was Kenneth Cole working, crafting, recreating. Is it? Didn't know exactly what it was. Wasn't for sure. But he was chasing his it. And I started thinking about this. I don't know what it is for the sales life. A buddy of mine asked me yesterday, where do you see the sales life? Global. He's like, for real? I'm like, yeah. That's it. That's all I can tell you. I don't know how. I don't know when. But imagine if I would clearly define my it. I don't know what it is for my sales profession. 22, going on 23 years later. I don't know. I don't clearly know. And that's the mystery to it all. That's the chase of it all. But see, if I haven't clearly defined my it, it gives me something to chase. It gives me something to run for. It gives me a challenge that I get some form of it. You got to change it up. I don't like this. I'm going to switch it. I'm going to mix it up. And I'm going to keep evolving. That's what your it is. And if you can't shape and mold your it, you're too rigid with it, man. You are. Imagine if I would have said, okay, and I said this in some earlier episodes. Imagine if I would have said, after 365 episodes, 1 year, I'm going to do an episode every single day. That's what I vowed to do. First year, 365 episodes. And I'd even, kind of drew the line in the sand and said, if I get to this, I may walk away from it. I may. But I wasn't for sure because I was chasing my it. But imagine if I would have said, dude, at the end of 365 episodes, if I'm not at 100,000 downloads, if I'm not one of the top podcasts in the world, dude, I'm out of here. Well, I would have been out of here because it's a long slog. And I've learned more in year number 3 than I have in years 1 and 2. I've learned more in years 18 to 22 because those are filled with demotion, with bankruptcy, with divorce, mixed into my sales profession. I had to weather all those storms. I've learned more in the 18 to 22 than I learned from 1 through 18. But see, what you have to understand is you got to get to year 3, going on year 4 for the sales life. You got to get to years 21 and 22 in order to have a 23. I don't want you to quit your it. Don't. And sometimes, man, I think we get too rigid. Sometimes I think we get too fixated on this is what it needs to look like. And if you clearly define it, then, oh my God, when you don't get it, you're going to turn back at the very moment everything could have turned for you. So don't quit your it. Now I'm going to leave you with this. If I don't know when it will turn, then I'm damn sure not about to quit my it. Remember, the greatest sale that you'll ever make is to sell you on you, because you're more than enough. Stay amazing. Stay in the sales life. New podcast coming out on Tuesday. Also, we'll go live next Tuesday as well. So y'all have a wonderful weekend. Much love to you. Be sure and share your comments below. Let me get there real quick before I jump off. What's up, Kenny Landrum? Hey, Candy, what's happening? Do not quit your it. And I want to hear from you, Kenny. I definitely want to hear from you, and share this, man. So thank you guys so much for coming on and for being a part of the sales life, dude. I know you got 16 minutes where you could have been somewhere else. It means a lot to me that you are here. Be sure and share today's episode with others, because somebody needs to hear, do not quit your it. Have an amazing day. Stay in the sales life.